Good afternoon. My name is Steve Pettis. I'm a horticulture agent here at the Henderson County Cooperative Extension Office, and I am here with Dr. Terry Kelley, our director here at the office, but also our apple agent. And Terry's going to talk to us a little bit about our apple trees we have growing outside here in our extension teaching garden. So Terry, tell me a little bit about what's going on with our apples. Looks like we're getting in some flowers.
Yeah, we're making progress. If you saw the last time we spoke, we were talking about these blooms being out to all we could see was just a little bit of green tip, or half-inch green as we call them. And now these are out to pink here, and you'll see that there's usually about 5 clustered around one in the middle. And then if we move over to this one, we'll see that one in the middle, which we call the king bloom, is a little bit of the ahead of the other 5 there in that cluster. And then if we look down here at this cluster here, we see the king bloom has already opened up. And these around,
well, it's got a pollinator on it.
Yeah, it does. It's got a small bee there of some kind that's doing a little pollination activity. And these others around it will eventually open up. Now, you may have noticed in the forecast that we're looking at some temperatures that may be as low as 35 degrees in the next week. That shouldn't be a problem unless it gets below that for a considerable length of time. So we would anticipate getting very little cold damage on these. One of the other things that's nice about these trees, and this tree is in what we call the third leaf. This is the 3rd year that it's been out here. It was an enterprise tree on a G935 rootstock, and you can see we've trained this tree some. And what we've done is that when this limb like this first came out, it was probably doing something more like this one here. But we put weights on it. Basically, the weight simulates an apple, or simulates a cluster of apples, and it pulls it down to this angle, which is the kind of angle that we want to see coming off a tree like this. Now, we're probably going to have to do the same thing with a limb like this, is to bring it down just a little bit. We'll have to put a weight on it to kind of hold it down. Once you've held it down like throughout the year, then it's going to start to have that kind of growth. And we'll have to do the same thing with these. We don't usually weight them until they get about 18 inches of growth on them, but at that point we can put a weight on them, and we don't like sag them way down, but we'll bring them down maybe no longer than that out there, just so that they start to grow and they'll kind of turn up on the ends like that too. And this tree's pretty vigorous for a 3-year-old tree. It's getting a lot of good branches on it. The ones we planted out here in the garden and extension, it's doing by far the best, which means that we're probably going to have to do some maintenance work in the coming years. One of the things you see here is something we don't really want to see, and that's like one limb right over the top of another. So when this thing fully leaves out, you're going to have a lot of these apples that would form on these that are going to get shaded out by not only this, but by this as well. So, we'll probably need to come back sometime within the next year or so, and we may end up pruning out this one here, because it's kind of growing out at this angle here. And so we would do a Dutch cut back to this one and let another limb come out and develop from that point, and hopefully bring it out a little bit more in this direction. We can't really train it out that way now, but we'll do that in the future. We see up here, we've got several here. We may eventually take this one out, because it's going to kind of be a little crowded right there. So you want to see about 4 limbs around each scaffold. You go down another little ways, and you see about 4 more, and then so forth and so on. So also, we want to trim out anything that the water sprouts, and I think we've already done that this year. There might be one right there that we could get out of there. But what we're trying to do is maximize the fruiting the fruiting buds on this tree. You can see these are kind of running together, as I mentioned before, and we may actually, after we prune this one out, we may actually have to prune this one off a little bit at the end, because you see there's a lot of structures here that haven't emerged. They're starting to, but we want to encourage some of that growth. By trimming it off at the end, we can encourage some of the growth back here. So that's kind of where we're at right now with the apple crop, and we're starting to see things pop and develop, and you know, probably on this one bloom, we hope to get at least one apple out of that.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about the king bloom versus the subordinate blooms?
Yeah, this king bloom is going to be the one that you're hoping is going to get pollinated and produce the fruit out of that cluster. You may actually get more than one out of that cluster, which is okay, probably for 2, I would say 3 at the most. But the one thing about the king bloom is if it does not produce an apple, for instance, if it really got cold this week and destroyed that, because it's a little further out, one of these may end up taking its place and getting developed there.
Yeah, so, but what you don't want is 6 apples right in one spot,
no,
right?
You do not want all those to create apples. That's too much for that little.
So what would you do later on in the summer?
Well, if generally they're going to abort some of those to begin with, because the tree just cannot sustain that much growth right there. But if it were to actually stick, say 4 or 5 right there on that cluster, we'd come back and thin out some of those by hand for this tree like this. We would just pick them off, you know, and so that the otherwise you end up with a lot of small apples, maybe not even really good apples. So we thin it down to, you know, the best 1 or 2, and give them room to grow and get of edible size and something that we can be proud of.
All right, well, that was Dr. Terry Kelley here with the Cooperative Extension Service in Henderson County, talking about apple trees and the state of the apple crop, which looks to be pretty good this year, right? I mean, in the county.
You know, we haven't had any really cold weather to impact things negatively at this point, and we hope it continues that way. We are expecting a little cooler temperatures, but nothing dangerous.
All right. Thank you very much, Terry. We'll talk to you guys later.